Oh, I just discovered something I didn't really know before. I have something in common with Albert Einstein. We both suffer from the impostor syndrome. That's right, the impostor syndrome, which means we didn't achieve anything and we're both losers. Hey, Joe here. Thanks for visiting Road Trip Joe, and thank you for watching. Okay, really quick update on Lucille. Just real quick. This was before, this was during, this is some more during, this is the front end off, this is the back end off. And look now, I got a frame. I have a frame on Lucille. It's all new wood though. Every piece of wood she had was rotten. Remember this lady here? Needs a little work though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but she's got solid bones.
She's got solid bones. Okay, I'm good with that. Well, she probably didn't know it was all rotten because you got to pull it apart to find out. But anyways, so be it. I'm getting a new trailer. I mean, it's going to be totally brand new. What is this imposter syndrome, and why do I feel like an imposter? And why does Albert Einstein, why did he feel like he was an imposter? I mean, I've had some success. You know, not like Albert Einstein, but I've had some success. But I think it's because of all the failures I've had, and I've had like a ton of them. I've had lots and lots of failures. And that's the rub, actually. It's because of these failures, I have this underachiever feeling. And when I do succeed, I just chalk it up to dumb luck. I just got lucky. Which leads me to the imposter syndrome, which I only recently heard about, but describes me pretty well. Now, the imposter syndrome, also known as the imposter phenomenon, is pretty simple. It's when an individual doubts their accomplishments and has a fear of being exposed as a fraud. And that, in a nutshell, is the imposter syndrome. To confirm this, I went online and took an imposter syndrome test. Yes, there's a test, and I found out I have an 81% chance that I suffer from this rather perplexing psychological pattern. But I'm not the only one who suffers from it. There's Albert, of course. And there's Tom Hanks, Maya Angelou, Tina Fey, Mike Myers, and the list goes on and on. Even Meryl Streep. Really? She's won like 12 Oscars, right? And she feels like an imposter? This is what Amy Poehler said about the imposter syndrome. You will never climb Career Mountain and get to the top and shout, "I made it." You will rarely feel done or complete or even successful. Most people I know struggle with this complicated soup of feelings, slighted on one hand and a total fraud on the other. And you know, that's the way I feel, but it looks like I'm in pretty good company. I mean, in my book, these people have achieved success. I can tell you, though, that it's not a good feeling when you think of yourself as an imposter or a fraud, and you constantly live with the idea that someone's going to find you out. So why do I feel this way? Well, it might be because of all those failures. But I've never been one to shy away from trying because I'm afraid to fail, because I can tell you I have decades worth of failures in my past. Decades. Professional and otherwise. Maybe I haven't been able to balance my successes with my failures. And I think that's why I continue to take on projects like Lucille. It's to prove to myself that I can still achieve things and maybe wipe some of those failures off my ledger. The experts say it's a lack of confidence. I don't think that's the case for me, because if you take on Lucille, you better be confident. But for some reason, I just don't feel like I've done enough or accomplished enough in my life. In my mind, I've never reached my full potential. So, what am I going to do about this imposter syndrome thing? There seems to be lots of supposed cures out there, but I think I found one for me. It's called Self-Actualization. I am going to reach my full potential. Okay, like the imposter syndrome, self-actualization is all new to me. Brand new, actually. The syndrome one I discovered by accident from someone I follow on YouTube who was describing themselves with this imposter syndrome thing, and it sounded like they were describing me. The other, self-actualization, I discovered through reading an article that mentioned it. But when I dug deeper, I came to realize that this could be my answer to my imposter syndrome. Now, self-actualization is a concept derived from Abraham Maslow's humanistic psychological theory. He's dead now, Abraham is, but he wrote this paper about it a long time ago, like in 1943. So, excuse me for just now joining the party. He followed it up in 1954 with a book called Motivation and Personality, where he expanded on his theory. Mr. Maslow's theory still remains a popular framework in sociology theory. In psychology, self-actualization is achieved when you're able to reach your full potential. Now, being truly self-actualized is considered the exception rather than the rule, since most people are working to meet more pressing needs. And Maslow outlined exactly what those needs are. The hierarchy of needs is often displayed as a pyramid, with the lowest levels representing basic needs and becoming more complex as you climb this pyramid. At the top is self-actualization, which you attain when you have met these other needs. So there are 4 levels to this pyramid before achieving your actualization. Psychological needs are things like water, food, shelter, sex, the basics. Then there's your safety needs like employment and security. Next comes love and belonging, which could be friendship or family. And then the esteem level, which is respect, self-esteem, status, and recognition. In theory, after you've met all of these levels, you can work on your self-actualization. That's when you hit nirvana, as I like to call it. Maslow called it peak experiences. In other words, these are moments of transcendence in which a person emerges feeling changed and transformed. So how do you know when you're self-actualized? Well, first you accept yourself and others as they are. You lack an inhibition and live your life guilt-free. Obviously, I'm not there yet. I got lots of guilt. Another sign is being realistic. In other words, instead of being fearful of the unknown, you're able to view life as it unfolds both logically and rationally. A self-actualized individual also likes to apply their problem-solving skills to real-world situations and likes helping other people improve their own lives. These self-actualized people are also autonomous and very independent. They don't conform to other people's ideas of what happiness or contentment can be. Now, I can honestly say I do possess that trait because happiness to me can be as simple as hanging out in Lucille in the middle of nowhere when other people think I'm crazy. What makes them happy or content, like having a mortgage or playing bingo on Saturday nights, doesn't necessarily apply to me. Another trait I might share is that these self-actualized people enjoy their solitude and privacy. That's me. We love the company of others, but taking time for ourselves is essential to our personal growth and discovery. I think this is where we cultivate our individual potential. There are a few more traits like having a psychological sense of humor and being open and unconventional, but I think you get the point. These people are in touch with themselves probably more than the rest of us are. I am guessing that there are lots of self-actualized people out there, and they just don't even know it. One last description on this self-actualization is that while these people have concrete goals, they don't see things as simply as a means to an end. In other words, the journey to achieving a goal is just as important and enjoyable as actually accomplishing the goal. In that sense, I'm not as bad off as I think I am. So, if I fail in restoring Lucy to her former glory, I'm still going to enjoy the ride. She will too. For me and Lucy, it's all about the journey. That's all I got.
I've spent my days being ready to go. I have lived my life on the road. I always keep on moving on. When on an early Sunday morning to say goodbye.
Joe here. Got my frames. Now it's time to put them on the side of Lucille. I'm gonna have to do it myself. Eric didn't get back till later today, and he would have come in handy. He's like 6'4". Don't say anything bad about tall people. Tall people come in handy sometimes. But anyways, I think I can do this myself. I got my clamps. I'm gonna be careful. Got some big screws I'm going to put in the bottom of it. I got one side up, and I'm going to put the other side up. I've already measured and cut my board that's going to go across the top to keep it stable. Do I know what I'm doing? I don't know. What do you think? No, I don't. Joe here, and I am in the Santa Maria dump, the recycle area, and I thought you might want to say goodbye to Lucille, or at least half of Lucille, and I'm making my dump run. Anyways, this was her floorboard here, and as you can tell, it's pretty much all rotten. Oh, a lot of this wood. Rotten wood. I mean, look at this right here. I could not reuse this. I'm hoping the back's going to be a little better. But anyways, it's in the recycle area, so maybe Lucille will be recycled. Okay? Just thought maybe you want to say goodbye to half of Lucille. That's all I got.